I can remember the day so clearly, I could just about taste it. Warm droplets of water, left over from the rain, clung to my skin when my mom and I got out of the car. Steam was rising in clouds as it rolled over the pavement, and hints of gold peeked through crevices between the buildings and the mountains. My mother had brought me to some place she called downtown. No older than 5 at the time, I couldn't remember having seen so many people with large, long, matted rods protruding from their heads instead of tiny strands of hair. They wore billowing skirts that fell past their knees to their ankles, and for some reason my mom referred to them as granolas. Intersections and main streets were blockaded by orange cones while patrolling policemen stood back. Weaving through endless amounts of people was worth the trouble once we reached the block inhabited by majestic creatures known as street performers. One was dressed in silver from head to toe, and not a single stretch of skin showed beneath the silver paint. The only way you could tell the woman was an actual human being instead of an extraterrestrial is when she blinked her eyes open to reveal blue irises. Street performers stood on the corners with tins and buckets, and apprehensive children that were about my size and stature would drop quarters and copper pieces into the tins. At the exact moment the coins would sing that they hit the bottom of the bucket, the performers would awaken, moving slowly. They always stopped to wink or wave in appreciation before locking back into their resting position. Voices ran in circles around my head so fast and loud, they came from every direction. I barely even noticed the music coming from many stages further down the avenue. People carried funnel cakes and huge cups, some filled with beer and others with lemonade. I felt like we spent eternity there. The golden hints of sun turned into stars long before I realized it. Mom grabbed my hands and we danced beside the granolas. Some beat on drums while we jumped and twisted and twirled. More drummers would chime in without missing a beat. I remember thinking they all had to practice together because they were so good. My curls pulled tightly in a high ponytail, bobbed up and down, and my cheeks pulled back in a smile. I later learned that the granolas, street performers, businessmen and women, and normal citizens of Asheville, North Carolina, were all congregated in this place called downtown for an annual festival named Belshare. I never missed it. I come from a place where being abnormal is almost normal, and odd encounters are expected. I come from a place where people dress in brightly colored tights and tutus and wigs to go out. Keep Asheville weird bumper stickers wink at you when you stop at a red light. Where I come from, mountains cradle you year-round, and in the fall, children touch their noses to the glass as they ride the passenger seat so that they can see the greens fading to beautiful reds, oranges, and yellows like smeared oil pastel on canvas. Art is found everywhere and anywhere. Graffiti in the alleyway, music on the street, cakes on the counter. It's passionate what I feel from my home. The energy is slightly magnetic pulling at me. I'd be a fool not to believe that Asheville affected me. I can see it in the lyrics of the songs I choose to listen to, and I hear it in their chords. They contain just enough defiance to set the tone, but enough laxity for balance. The first verse of Milk by Kings of Leon takes me back to the parkway after the temperatures already started dropping for the night. We're trying to climb through dirt and mud and bushes to get up the side of the mountain. A pink tint has already come over the sky, but we finally get to our resting spot before the sun really sets. It just feels right. The majority of my time in life was spent around the artistically inclined and eccentric. Although I'm not an exceptionally talented person myself, I like to believe that I can fully appreciate multiple art forms and the beauty that created them. Multiple times I've walked through the streets carted by tiny tents and kiosks filled with sculptures, beaded bracelets, necklaces, and prints of far-off lands. Until I came to college, I never thought about why I feel the way I feel about certain issues. Not because I didn't think it mattered, it just never occurred to me to wonder. However, when I think about it, I realize that I grew up in a liberal world. In this world, protesters lined up side by side demanding humanity to be okay with their decision to love and love openly. I suppose that children are blank slates that take life and form opinions as they go. I'd be a fool to say that Asheville didn't affect me, but I'd also be a fool to say that my current culture doesn't have the power to manipulate me.